14 years ago, somebody said there were so many Zeigers in Puyallup that they had to build a school just to accommodate all of them. And, Zeiger means pointer, and so the mascot of this school is the Explorer, Zeiger Explorers. But I understand that there's an older meaning of the name in Germany, and that has to do with one who dwells near a signboard. In other words, a homeless person who sits outside of an inn or restaurant begging for food. I once thought of living up to my name, but there are lower depths to which a human being may fall. And so I turned to politics. For 56 years, starting in 1932, this was a Democrat district. In 1932, State Senator Nifty Garrett celebrated his Democrat victory in the 25th District by getting on the back of a donkey and riding up the steps of the state capitol. All of his friends down in Olympia to watch the scene. Rode up the front steps of the state capitol and got off and walked into the Senate. Well, when we win this year, I'm going to ride an elephant up the front steps of the state capitol. We're all riding the elephant. The trouble with that is that elephants make big messes, and nobody would know how to deal with that in Olympia. Yet this was once a Democrat district. The conventional wisdom is that today it is a swing district. But that's wrong. Because this year, voters are going to demonstrate that the 25th district is Republican territory. All of us are aware of the real challenges to the future of our families, our schools, our businesses, and our community. A new generation of Americans is discovering that economic prosperity doesn't last forever. Our generation must be tested on the question that has faced every generation of Americans since our founding. It is the question of self-government. Whether you and I can govern ourselves, whether we can take responsibility for our families and jobs, whether we can make something of the opportunities that God has given to us. And too often, government has assumed that you and I aren't capable of much on our own. More and more, individual initiative, voluntary cooperation, free enterprise, and community spirit have given way to the belief that bureaucracies can solve our deepest needs. And today, despite its long and dismal record of ineptitude, government promises grander visions than ever before. And at the same time, in this economy, our resources have run low. And so the task before us is the business of setting priorities. In the next few minutes, I want to talk about the priorities that I'll choose if I'm elected to serve this district in Olympia. My sense of what is important is so powerfully informed by the lessons that I have learned from so many of you over the years. They are lessons also that echo through the generations. In the century after our nation's founding, the first pioneers came to the Northwest to seek opportunity in places like Puyallup. Puyallup means the generous people. And I like to think that we live up to our name. Although I don't think that Ezra Meeker was thinking about our generosity with our tax dollars when he named the place. And when I've spoken to groups these past few months, I've talked about the generous men and women in the history of our community who have made it an exceptional place. I've talked about the populist Governor John Rogers, the Barry entrepreneur and progressive state senator William Paul Amos, the budget-cutting public intellectual Warner Karshner, the education statesman Buster Burlett. And I've also talked about our heroes in war, about an overweight town bully named Albert Tresh, who won the Silver Star for his bravery at the fall of Corregidor and survived the Bataan Death March. And Lieutenant Eddie Myers, the Viking quarterback and class president who was like a father to his men as they liberated Europe, who died in a barn in the middle of the night in a little town on the Western Front called Welshville. Just last week, a gentleman in Fife passed away by the name of Bob Mizukami. And Bob was a friend of mine. I got to know him in the last couple of years of his life. And Bob grew up in Fife. He and his brother Bill went off and joined the 442nd All-Japanese-American Infantry Regiment during World War II. They fought through some of the most difficult battles in the European theater. And Bob came home to be the first mayor of Fife. Well, just the week before Bob passed away, I called him up and I talked to him about my campaign. And he said that he was proud of what I was doing. And that was a fond memory that I can Others I have known as heroes growing up. I should mention a few who are here tonight. My second grade teacher, Mary Wiley.